50 years ago, Martin Luther King was reshaping civil rights through marching and civil disobedience. 50 years later, Black Lives Matter fights against police brutality and homicide. But is the movement aiming in a direction that is conducive to a better quality of life for African Americans? Or is Black Lives Matter a fringe, unruly organization with 7, 6, 10, and 33-point plans depending on the city? Is their target white supremacy or the downfalls of blacks working against blacks in black neighborhoods? Black Lives Matter on Counterpoint with Gerard McClendon.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. 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 Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon.
So, Rashad, you were out there. This was your group. Do you think that any of this anger and frustration, do you think that is spreading? Is it going too far?
Don, I think that for many, many years, black people have been under attack. I find it very offensive that people are going to say this chant has led to the deaths of officers. There's been plenty of rhetoric.
But are you condoning that? You don't condone that language, do you?
I mean, here's the thing. It might not have been the best chant, but I'm not going to tell someone what they can say or what they can't say. What I don't condone and what I feel is very offensive is that we're being connected to people we don't know, people who aren't a part of the movement. And what's even more offensive is that there's all this uproar about a chant. If you can remember back to the New York City Police Department, who wore shirts saying, "I can breathe," mocking the death in the last few words of Eric Garner. There was no uproar, Don.
No uproar, Don. Welcome to Counterpoint. Hey, give us a call at 844-777-9311. Hit me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Hit me at Gerard McClendon or Gerard MC. Joining me at the Counterpoint are Deontay Glover, Laurel Kilpatrick, and Jonathan Wilson from Black Lives Matter, Northwest Indiana. G.I. Gary, welcome to the show. We really appreciate y'all being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, you know, first things first. We saw Rashad Turner, Minnesota. We heard the chant about frying pigs in a blanket, all right? You can call that irresponsible speech or not, but let's deal with Black Lives Matter as a whole, and then let's deal with Black Lives Matter in terms of Gary, Indiana. Why did the three of you join the Black Lives Matter movement? Let me start with Jonathan.
I think the reason I joined was I think you get caught up in the movement. I think when you saw what happened to Mike Brown, I actually went down there to Ferguson. I was down there during some of the moments when protesters who were unarmed were attacked with tear gas and rubber bullets and things like that. So I think that when you experience that, I think you don't. I don't think you have a choice a lot of times. I think right now this is a politically an extreme period, and I think you have to, I guess, pick sides. What side of history are you going to be on?
This is interesting. So, Laurel, Black Lives Matter, what does it mean to you, and why did you join this movement?
Well, I joined this movement very similar to what Jonathan said. I've been involved in social justice activism for a little while, since I was an undergraduate in college. And I've been teaching sociology now for about 12 years on the college level. And I think that you definitely do have to make a choice. I think that right now, young people are given the choice between apathy or choosing some of the more polarized organizations and the propaganda that goes with it. And I think that the chore is to really dig deep to find out what you want to do. Again, as Jonathan said, what contribution you want to make towards history, because this is history being made. right
you're,
now.
You're absolutely right. This is history being made, you know, and people can talk about civil rights in antiquity. People can talk about, you can go back to 1619 if you want. You can talk Plessy Ferguson, you bring it all the way up. But, you know, we're in a time now when civil rights is probably more at the forefront than it's ever been. Deontay, why, man? Why did you join BLM, man?
Same thing as the previous two. We don't have a choice. You either let the system kill you or do something about it. So I want to be part of the solution and to making progress for, you know, not only black people, but, you know, everybody that's disenfranchised. So that's what my stance is.
Okay, so Alicia Garza, all right, let's talk about the founders now, right? Opal Tometi and Patrice Cullors say that Black Lives Matter is about building a base to counter anti-black racism which permeates society, all right? Do the three of you believe that this society has an anti-black nature? Do you believe that?
I do, yes.
Talk to me, Deontay.
It's
It's 20, come on, it's 2016, Deontay.
Well,
I'm wearing a suit, brother.
Right, it's more than obvious. The history, even in current times, the system is built on of course, the blood of black people, and you know, the laws that we have, all of the ordinances, and you know, I'm not gonna say all of them, but the great majority of them are made to cater to specific groups and to exclude, of course, black people.
Really? You really believe that?
It's not something that I have to believe, it's reality.
It's reality.
Right.
So, if I'm a law-abiding citizen,
Right.
if I don't steal Jaguars in Chicago, I don't have cops chasing me. If I'm not selling
That's
Lucy
not-
cigarettes, I don't have cops choking me. If I'm not a black gang member in Chicago that's organizing some sort of cadre to shoot cops in Chicago, I don't have a problem.
Right, but if you Tamir Rice playing in the park, you got a problem.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Or if you are selling Lucy cigarettes, you're gonna get choked to death on the street.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as I know, that's not the law.
So the three of you aren't down with all lives matter. Yes, no, talk to me, Jonathan.
I think I don't think anybody is against the general idea that all lives matter. Clearly, everybody, I think, I'm sure the founders of Black Lives Matter believes, you know, in their heart, right, that all lives matter. But I think the situation that we're dealing with right now in the country is that black people in particular are, you know, faced with some situations that I don't think a lot of, at least to the same degree that a lot of other races are facing. Right. So it's not that, you know, all lives don't matter, but it's about, if anything, this idea that black lives should matter, I think that ties into that, that all lives matter.
Okay, so call and response, call to action. That's what Alicia Garza says. I'm looking at the 6-point plan on the website. Number 1, end war on blacks. Okay, so we have to assume that there's a war on blacks, all right? So when I leave this TV studio, do I need to assume that there's a war on me?
Yes, you do.
Okay, all right. Number 2, reparations. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I guess when we talk about war, a lot of times the idea is that it's violent, right? That as soon as I step out, you know, I'm going to be shot or something like that. But wars come in all different forms, you know. Right. There's economic war, right? So when you
Psychological war.
Right. When you talk about schools in black communities being closed down, hospitals and things in black communities being closed down, that's economic war, right? It's not, people aren't physically being harmed, but, you know, closing down schools, closing down hospitals are ultimately going to harm people. So that's an economic
bad schools,
war.
unemployment.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. Let's talk about reparations. Do the three of you believe in reparations? Laurel, reparations for black people in the United States.
I believe in justice.
Justice.
And I believe that one way, well, the way that we measure justice in a society that we live in is by money. I think that's the primary way we measure justice. And I think that's very skewed, because I think that many of the families who've had their loved ones murdered have gotten large cash settlements. But I think we really have to look at what justice means. And I think that's overarching for these issues, right? We have to look at the definition of power. We really have to deconstruct what you said earlier, Black Lives Matter. My great aunt, my father's aunt, who's a member of Black Lives Matter, Gary, says that when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not just talking about now, we're talking about those 400-something years ago, all those lives that never mattered to anybody up until now, right? So I think we have to look at the definitions of power, the definition of justice. Money doesn't bring anybody back. Money doesn't cure post-traumatic stress disorder if you happen to see your loved one being shot. Money doesn't put back into the family what was been stolen away when you take a life.
Yeah, but you're Black Lives Matter, Northwest Indiana, Gary, right?
Yes.
Black mayor, Black city council, majority black police officers, but the city, but there are 2 families per week that leave Gary. Black Lives Matter. So is Black Lives Matter looking at any other causes beyond police brutality? Are you looking at employing black people in Gary? Are you looking at educating black people in Gary? Or is this, let's look for terrible white men to crucify? Talk to me.
I think that's part of the definition issue, right? We really do have to look at what we mean by state violence, right? State violence, as Jonathan said, is not just somebody shooting at you when you walk out of here. It's the psychological trauma you go through if you're at a restaurant and they take a long time serving you. Is it because I'm black? Is it not? The stress that goes through your body, the health concerns that causes.
So should blacks in Gary shop in Maryville, Portage, Hammond, or should they deal with restaurants that are all black in Gary?
So I think
If
going
you can
back
find one.
to the issue of politics and the council and all that stuff, we have to really look at the state of people's lives in Gary. How long, this is what people consider a chocolate city, right? And do Black Lives matter to those entities? Do Black Lives matter to the local government, to the state
think
government?
Black Lives Matter, Deontay, to black people?
I do.
Because my parents were killed by 2 black teenagers. 2 black gangster disciple teenagers invaded my parents' home and killed them, not the white man. So talk to me, Deontay.
Well, here's the thing with this whole the myth of black on black crime. People.
It's not a myth. My parents were killed by 2 black teenagers, Deontay. It's not a myth, brother.
People interact with people they have access to. So
I'll give you that.
So by saying black on by drawing a picture of black on black crime, that's indicating that other groups don't do harm to one another.
Which they do. Whites kill whites.
Whites kill whites even more than blacks do.
But there's 68 million whites under the poverty level, but they still kill at a rate lower than black folks.
But as mentioned before, you interact with people you have access to.
Yes.
So whether I'm in a group full of white people or Mexicans or lawyers and doctors, those groups, those individual groups, you interact with those individual groups when you have access to them.
So see, my question in the second half is, where is the love? You know, if I'm close to a group, can I love that group? You know, if all lives matter, truly, why do we have Black Lives Matter? Tricia Johnson writes on Facebook, I'm glad that Black Lives Matter is here, Gerard. Who else is on the front line? Joshua Holland from Nation Magazine gives us a statistic. The average black family would need 228 years to build the wealth of the average white family. Megan Pride writes, Black Lives Matter scares me. If Black Lives Matter, will mine still matter? And Derek Dirk left me a voicemail message saying, Black Lives Matter is a movement. It's not a fad. It's been a long time coming, but I think it's something that's very so needed. Thank you all for your comments. Hey, call me at 844-777-9311. Hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Gerard MC. Hey, we'll be back shortly. Tweet me, post on Instagram, or send me a message on Facebook. Let's start the conversation. Your voice is important on CounterPoint.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make something very clear. Blue lives matter in America. I stand before you tonight with a heavy heart as the law enforcement community prepares to bury 3 of Baton Rouge, Louisiana's finest. But there is some good news out of Baltimore, Maryland, as Lieutenant Brian Rice was acquitted on all charges. In the malicious prosecution of activist State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby.
Wow, Sheriff David Clark, Wisconsin, baby. What about blue lives? Are there comparative and superlative values placed on lives mattering? Gerard's life matters, doesn't it? More than yours. Laurel Kilpatrick and Jonathan Wilson return. Jerry Riles, executive producer of the Rewind Sports 60, joins me at the Counterpoint. Thank you so much for being here. Jerry, I'm going to go to you first, man. We got the youngins on the show today. Black Lives Matter. This reminds me of Carr. When I was in college, we started an organization at Wabash College called Coalition Against Apartheid and Racism.
Sure.
This was around the time when Nelson Mandela was taking heat and about to be released, all right? We asked for divestment,
Sure.
all right? We went to Shell. We went to all of these major corporations. We went to the diamond companies and said, you get out now or else. We were demanding something. Is this something that black people need to do in this society? Demand.
There's no question about it. I recall the same time at The Ohio State University, we asked for the same, for the university to divest. And they certainly did that under the pressure of the student body. So it's definitely needed that Black America needs to step up and demand. There's no question about it. But I think the approach has to be calculated. I think. You
don't think Black Lives Matter has a calculated approach?
I don't know if it's definitely calculated universal. I think in certain parts of the country it may be calculated to meet the needs there. But I just think, Gerard, that black people as a whole need to come together. That's what I truly believe.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we talk about Blue Lives Matter. We talk about Black Lives Matter. But from my perspective, all lives matter. And you can't fault the entire police force based on a few bad apples. And it's unfortunate. There's a lot of racism that goes on in the police force, and black community suffers a lot from it. But there are a lot of good police officers out there trying to patrol the neighborhoods and correct what's going on in the neighborhood. You got a bad few apples in the black community.
So okay, we got a, let's, wow. You know, I got about 300 thoughts in my head right now, Jerry.
But here's the thing, Gerard. It all starts at home.
It does.
It starts at home.
So we were talking about these absent fathers and these tired mothers who don't teach their children manners. Is that where it starts?
It starts in the home.
I'm tired of Bebe's kids. I'm tired of these ratchet moms and dads, man.
I understand that.
You know, don't try not to steal a Jaguar. Try not to do that.
Bingo.
You know.
Bingo.
Hold up, Jerry. False dichotomy. Laurel, talk to me now. See. Benjamin Banneker said it best. He says, "You may be my color, but you're not my kind." Do you have to claim black people when they're doing stupid stuff? Laurel, talk to me. Because do stupid black lives matter?
I think number one, I guess there's a lot of layers in what you're saying. There is no such thing as a blue life unless we're talking about a cartoon character. Being a police officer is a job, is a dangerous job. You know it's dangerous when you take it. It's not about, well, let's say it is about spoiled apples, but what do spoiled apples do?
They make the whole bunch bad.
That's right.
Really?
Implicitly, they make the whole bunch bad. So false dichotomy, right? That's a false comparison of two different things that you're posing as opposite, that are not really opposite. And that's what the All Lives Matter or even Blue Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. All lives matter is an ideal, right? Humanistically, all lives should matter.
Is Black Lives Matter that's not an ideal?
So all lives matter is not a reality. They don't matter. They they don't matter, right?
And neither do Black lives.
Right.
Right, Black lives. Poor white lives don't either. Latino lives don't. I mean, so we have ideal versus reality.
Yeah.
Right, and so we have to state that. We absolutely have to state that. Police officers' lives matter because they have the full power of the state behind them.
Oh.
If any crime is committed against a police officer, especially if it's a fatal crime of murder, the person who committed it, I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, I just don't know of it. The person who commits that crime is put to death by the state.
Yeah.
We have a hard time of even getting an indictment of a police officer who their own process can agree they've wrongfully murdered someone.
We saw people at the RNC rejoicing that that acquittal took place. You know,
Learned
that's
racism.
Yeah.
It's a learned systemic racism.
Learned systemic. Jonathan.
Nah, yeah, you know, just piggybacking off of what Laurel was saying, I think, you know, when we talk about black on black crime, well, first thing I'll say that there was a study in Chicago about 2 years ago that came out, and it was talking about how unemployment amongst black youth between the ages of 16 and 24 is 92%. Right. So then we look at what is the demographic. You know, Chicago is Chirac now, right? What is the demographic of the people who are committing these crimes, right? It's 16 to 24. So these are folks who are, and I'm not trying to make excuses for behavior or anything like that, but unemployment is a serious problem. When people don't have money, they do. We live in a capitalist society where people need money. So when people don't have money, they do things that in order to get there.
So Jonathan, is that on black people to build more businesses in the south and west side of Chicago and in Gary, Indiana, EC, and Hammond? Is that on us?
Mm-hmm. I think it's on black people to change the culture.
Yeah.
We have to change the culture. I think in the 60s, we had a strong culture coming out. And somewhere in the 70s and 80s, that culture was replaced by gang culture. So I think what we have to do is we have to reclaim that culture. I'm not saying we need to throw anybody under the bus, but we need to reclaim that culture. Even when we talk about, and then just to talk about Paul O'Neill, he was a young man who was recently killed by the police because he stole a Jaguar. And I've gotten to many debates about this. And yeah, he stole a Jaguar. Is that a commendable thing? Of course not. However, should he be dead for that? I think that's the question.
They shouldn't have
No,
shot.
they, you know, if I could jump in, there's no question they should not have shot the young man the way that they did. They shouldn't have even tried to chase him down for a stolen Jaguar. They could have figured out a way. These Chicago police, the intelligence that they have, they could figure out a way to how to find this guy. Once the car is stopped, he jumps out. They could arrest him.
Yeah.
That's certainly understandable. But
it was a thing. I mean, a car has insurance on it. It's not like you kill an individual over a piece of metal.
But that's why I said it starts at home, Gerard, because first and foremost, this 2016 we're talking about, a black male on the south side and the west side. You know, if you do anything wrong, the cops are going to be after you. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to pull their weapon on you, right or wrong, because what? We all fit the description. 5'8" to 6 foot.
We need more
155 pounds, 185 pounds.
We need more black cops in these neighborhoods, though. But
Absolutely not.
You certainly do.
But here's what's problematic, though.
No.
Black folks can't pass the drug test.
We don't need more black cops in the neighborhood.
Why were all of those white and Hispanic cops chasing after Paul O'Neill?
Before we even get to that,
Let's talk about it.
I just want to point to a movie that many probably people have seen in our age demographic, Boys in the Hood. Easily, the most racist character in that movie was the black cop.
Oh, yeah.
So when we talk about
Crenshaw Mafia.
Exactly. When we talk about these systemic issues, right? And I think my understanding from this comes from my training as a sociologist, right? We have to talk about it in that I believe we have to have a deeper understanding
of black lives
of
matter.
what was said previously about it starts in the
black
home.
people not worshiping sports and music.
The home, the
black
home,
boys being able to read by 3rd grade.
The home is not separate from society.
Yeah.
The society and the dominant culture affects people's lives in the home. These are institutions.
Laurel, the dominant culture, I still have a responsibility in a dominant culture.
But even your responsibility is not separate from the influence of the dominant culture, because in a different culture, your responsibilities are different.
So,
I think
is
we have
Black
to have a
Lives
broader
Matter
understanding.
ever going to have a platform that teaches black people how to be responsible?
And I think that when you look at even this point plan, you spoke of divestment when you were in college. Invest, divest is one of those points. So I think that it's one thing to listen to the sound bites and to believe the propaganda about what Black Lives Matter is about. Black Lives Matter in itself is a network, and I think we've heard that before. Of course, in specific areas, Black Lives, these groups, the chapters as they're called, are going to have different edicts. They're going to have different focuses.
Okay, so I got 1 minute left. So what's the Gary, Indiana, Northwest Indiana edict?
So we issued 7 demands, and Jonathan, jump in. We issued 7 demands to the local legislation, stopping the city sweeps, stopping the predatory fines that happen, people getting upwards of $2,000 to $5,000 in traffic fines.
Okay, Jonathan, I gotta move past you because I got like 15 seconds left. Jerry Riles.
Yes, sir.
$40 million slaves. Every
Yes.
black boy wants to be a basketball player. I'm going to the pros.
Of course.
Lord knows they ain't going pro.
No.
Everybody ain't a LeBron.
No.
How do we change that, man? You're a sports guy. How
You
do
know
we
what?
change? 15 seconds.
In 15 seconds, you get those kids involved in sports, and then you show them the sports industry where they can become an executive. They can become someone behind the scenes. That's how you get them involved and away from actually being the player on the court or the field playing ball.
Or someone can cheat and take Derrick Rose's standardized test. Look, see.
Systemic.
You know what?
It's a
I really
systematic
appreciate
problem.
my guests today. Thanks to my guests, Jerry Riles, Jonathan Wilson, Laurel Kilpatrick, and Deontay Glover. I really appreciate Black Lives Matter. They taught me something. Joining me at the Counterpoint, young people have the energy to start, engage, prolong, sustain, and carry out movements on the ground and on the internet. Much better than old heads like me. Black Lives Matter is doing such, and sometimes older heads like me must move out of the way as to not obstruct progress. Sure, all lives matter, that's a given, but Black Lives Matter is more specific to a cause. Don't try to stop a movement, go start one. And when doing so, have a plan and be courageous. Continue the dialogue. Hit me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Call me 844-779311. Stay positive. I need you to keep your head up and always be encouraged to voice your counterpoint. Have a great week.